Good evening. Here we are on episode 6, which is amazing because we thought we may stop at episode 4. And we have another new guest with us this evening is Perminder Khatkar.
Hello, Cheryl.
Welcome.
Hello, Perminder.
And
Hello.
Sam's here, obviously, because it's mine and Sam's podcast. So, firstly, Perminder is my friend and has been for 25 years. And you know, I only hang around with amazing women. So if you are female and in my life, then you are amazing. She's a journalist and a producer and makes radio documentaries and podcasts. And the reason that I invited her, well, it prompted me to invite her to this podcast is because she mentioned, I've noticed a massive uptake with particularly women in hijabs coming to classes, and it's great. And I just remembered a while back, I think before COVID, Perminder did
It was a documentary
in India, and it was about women running outside. So this obviously interested me, being a runner, running outside and all of that. So Perminder, tell us more about that firstly.
So as you've already said, Cheryl, I am a documentary and a journalist, and I've been doing this for probably far too many decades, I care to mention. But this was a programme I was making for the BBC World Service, and it was a little story that I'd come across, and it was a friend of mine who I'd done some work with before, but she lives in Delhi. She's actually an English woman called Christina, and at the age of 60, Christina started to run, and she became a runner. And of course, a lot of her friends were local Delhi women in Delhi. Some of the girls were only in their 20s and 30s. So they started a running club, and they started running, mostly in the sort of the local park, but very central Delhi. And Delhi, obviously, you can imagine, is incredibly built up. It's an incredibly busy, loud city. And so they were running for a little while, and then some of the younger women in particular decided they actually wanted to buy some proper gym wear stuff, and they went and bought the lovely latest Adidas little bralette tops and tight, running stuff, and they felt quite confident to be able to wear this. They talked about it, thought, no, we're actually going to wear this, even though, if I'm honest, I think they initially thought there would probably be some sort of backlash. But anyway,
from men or women of the generation above?
Probably more from men.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever been, and this is a bit of a generalization, but if you've been to India, and if you've been to places like Delhi, and I go quite frequently, even sort of, and I've been going since I was 18. I'm now in my 50s. Annoyingly, like lots of parts of the world, and even in this country, men tend to, leech at you. But in India, they're a bit more vocal, and you get the cars beeping, and then
like
you
the 70s.
It is like,
absolutely.
To be honest, I do miss builders wolfisting me.
do.
I feel like they're going, it's okay, you can if you want.
Yeah,
but they don't
on
anyway.
Holiday in Spain, when you get your bum pinched, none of that happens anymore, does it?
The good old days.
The good old days. Well, so you can imagine in Delhi, the reaction that these women got, and actually, in a way, the reaction was so even more severe than they actually thought they would get, that it actually ended up articles being written in newspapers
negatively.
Well,
because historically they would have exercised in private.
Yes, and I think it was more the fact that it wasn't so much the running, I think, in Delhi, because Delhi's quite a modern city. But I think it was the fact that it's what they were wearing, so they would have expected them to wear maybe be more covered up, basically. And these women weren't, and they actually felt, and rightly so, that they will choose to wear whatever they want to wear. And for a lot of the younger women, they wanted to look good. It was part of the image. And then it was really interesting because there was a couple of articles picked it up, and then there was a bit of a debate going on. Should these women be wearing these sort of outfits? Are they just attracting the wrong sort of attention? And there was a couple of radio programs about it, and I picked up on the story because Christina had told me about it, because I then covered it then for the World Service. But it was really interesting to think that, this was what we were talking about just before COVID. And
So
this
not
was
that long
happening
ago.
not that long ago.
So what was the general census of it all? In the end, did they stick to the sportswear that they'd
Yes.
bought?
Yeah, absolutely. In the
Brilliant.
women, I think more women rallied behind this group of
That's
women
brilliant.
and the runners. And what's really, really interesting now, roll on 6, 7, 8 years, is that they've actually got sponsorship. And there's now a running club, and some of these women now have gone on to then, you know, be paid to wear all this
winning.
lovely.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great story.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
love that.
really, positive story.
And hopefully with that in mind, the more and more women that come on board with that, then the next generation will follow, and the historical hiding behind closed doors will be a thing of the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, you know, it's interesting because, again, as a program maker and a woman of colour, I've made a lot of programs over the years, particularly about sort of the experiences of British Asian women. And I've done some other stories just in this country and about women, even walkers. I did a lovely program. I used to do this program on Radio 4 for Open Country, and it was a rambling program, and it was to do with a bunch of Muslim women in Bradford. But you know, they formed a rambling group, and it was just to get women out and walking.
Yeah.
Because you know, as we all know, green spaces, walking, it's good for your mental health. But it's also a chance to, you know, for you to come together with other women. When you're walking, you're talking, and sharing stories.
I've got a friend who teaches fitness classes, and majority of the women on her class are fully covered out of the class. They get in the class, it's become a women's only class, and they're in the little crop tops.
So they take it off when they know there's no men.
Yeah. I've got a couple of ladies on my classes that do that as well.
Yeah. I have two actually, but the problem in one of my gyms is that quite often a manager will walk in, and that's happened twice, and one of them's panicked and put her head wear back on. But what I've noticed is people from all kinds of ethnic backgrounds coming together, and I think creating relationships which would have never happened outside of the gym as well. So you see them leaving the gym together. Historically, I don't think that would have happened either. Yeah, it's nice to see, and especially at one of my gyms, it's always been lots and lots of Indian ladies, more Sikh and Hindu ladies, and I've quite often only been the white Gora in the room, and I love it.
Well, I used to teach for the city council, and a couple of classes that I taught, I was the only white person in the room, and I would say, oh, when's the next festival, are you bringing any food in? And then I'd get to teach my class when the festival was on, and they'd set out a little table and brought all food in, and it was great. And I was tasting food I never get the chance to, and we were all chatting away. It was just great. I miss that. I do miss that side of it, because I don't teach that anymore. Yeah,
and I suppose it just shows how exercise is such a good avenue to get people together. And then you're finding about different cultures, about other people's lives. Because historically, as I've said, when, you know, particularly when my parents would have first come to this country. I mean, my mum came into England. She was 16 years old. She came in the 1960s, and that's when a lot of
harsh
Asian communities came in the 60s and 70s. And you know, even then, for whether you were Asian, you know, women didn't go to the gym or exercise, and there's no way, you know, these British Asian women would have even thought about going to the gym or doing any sort of form of exercise.
Has never done exercise.
Yeah,
she's walked. We've always had dogs, so we've always walked as a family. But my mum would never lift weights, and I feel that she's paying the price now for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's that generation.
Yeah. And it's interesting you're saying now how then over the years have been some sort of either organisations where they're trying to encourage more Asian women in particular to go out and exercise, because there's been so many, you know, and again, I've done lots of programmes about it, but you look at statistics, you know, health of Asian women in particular, more prone to diabetes, heart issues, you know, lots of things.
Predetermined.
And so there have been little programs to try and encourage women. And one of the most simple things was to actually create spaces, safe spaces. And again, that's probably not just for women of colour, but also all women to feel, you know, because you need confidence to go to a gym.
100%.
And women do build each other up, don't we?
Yeah,
we do.
And that lechy man culture is still there.
Absolutely.
In gyms.
Oh God, yeah.
Like you're going to a gym at 6 o'clock on a Monday night, and it's like a zoo.
Yeah.
I've not done it for a long time, but I remember going in, and it got to the point where they would all like, she is like the gym police. I'd walk up the top of the stairs, and there'd just be weights all over, and I'd be like, "This is a fire exit route. Clear your weights." I was like a real Karen, and they respected me in the end for it. But they're intimidating places for any women, let alone women of colour, I think.
Absolutely. So I think, and so if you can now create spaces for women-only classes, and that's why you're probably now also seeing that more women are feeling confident to feel, well, if there's other women going, actually it's a safe space. And then you sort of encourage each other. And I think what's really lovely now is particularly, I mean, I'm second generation British Asian. So I would, I grew up in sort of the 70s and early 80s. And God, when did I first get into, I mean, I'm not a huge gym goer. I mean, I've known you for a long time, Cheryl, through the gym. But
This is awkward.
So basically, if Perminder was to, I'll mention a gym. There's no harming it, but so Perminder comes to David Lloyd's at the Meridian, and if she did decide to terminate her membership, I think the bar would probably finish, because she loves a latte,
cappuccino,
more than a workout.
I do. But I've started doing yoga now. I've stuck to yoga for the last 3 years. Twice a week I do yoga.
How's that going on your heart?
Yeah, well,
all right.
You know.
And you should see her do a spin class.
Are you being a bit judgy?
Bit
judgy.
Listen, I did a class last week.
She's so dramatic in spinning. It's hilarious.
And then I think I did a class on Friday. I did it after yoga, actually. And it's one of those all-body workout classes. Very good. But I didn't walk for 3 days. I was in London at the weekend. And, you know, it's when you're bending to even sit down, sit on the loo. I mean, I've only just slowly recovered by today. So I probably won't go for another 6 months. But
it's £90 a class.
Yes. But I do love it because I meet lots of lovely people. I get my coffees in.
Yeah.
Huge social
it's
side
great.
to some gyms, isn't there?
What prompts you to come to the gym, Perminder?
Probably my yoga at the moment. And there's always that. I do need to get fitter. And because I do the odd spin class and I do the odd bodybuilding class, whatever they're called.
Body pump.
Body pump. I do know that I need to get stronger. I know it's good for me. So I do the basics, but I probably need to do a little bit more. But actually it's the social. And it's a bit routine. Yeah. At least twice a week.
I've got a neighbour who she's Chinese, so she goes off to work in Hong Kong. So they both teach. She's English, she's Chinese, and she just wants to stretch all the time. So when she comes back, she comes for PT, and it's just hilarious.
She just wants to
stretch now, stretch. And I'm like, no. And she's so bendy and has zero strength whatsoever. Yeah. So
but it is interesting, isn't it? And just different approaches and different attitudes to exercise. Because what I also, again, because we're talking specifically about Asian women and exercise, what I had forgotten, and it surprised me, and I thought, gosh, even in sort of 2026, there are still some women, particularly Muslim women, who don't swim. And again, I came across this because somebody again had made a podcast called Brown Women Don't Swim. Oh. And I went, oh, they do. That's a bit of a generalisation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, it's still the case with a lot of Muslim women, young. So even women in their 30s. Somebody I know at the BBC, she's one of my presenters, and it was really interesting. And she said actually she doesn't swim because, again, it was to do with when she was growing up at school. She'd gone to a comprehensive school, mixed school. Yeah. Her parents didn't want her wearing a swimming costume as soon as she got to about 11, 12. Oh. So then she opted out of swimming lessons. and actually consequently never learnt to swim.
What a
Yeah, I hadn't
shame.
thought, because immediately when you said that, I was thinking of dress code.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
swimming
was.
costumes.
And
Yeah.
again, so they can't swim because their parents
Mm.
never. Okay.
Oh, what a shame.
Not all of them, and
No.
a bit of a. But I'm surprised that it's still there is a section of women
Yeah,
who, you know, from the Muslim community. Some of them don't swim.
yeah,
But now again, because you know, again, it's something that's people are recognising. They're putting on women. You know, for the last probably 20 years, there's been women-only swimming class lessons.
yeah.
My own mum, probably in the 1980s, because we used to go swimming as a family. My parents actually thought it was really important that we went swimming. We had swimming lessons at school, but we used to go swimming at the weekends. My dad used to take us.
Yeah.
And my mum used to swim as well, but she couldn't swim. In fact, she's only learnt to swim probably over the last 10, 20 years, but she's not confident. She's scared of water still.
It's crazy.
That is,
Yeah,
it's a
I
shame.
again, I think that's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Like for my parents, their parents were poor, so my parents never. I think my dad could swim, but my mum can to this day can't swim.
Yeah, and it
And
depends.
I remember her having lessons when I was a child.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the dress code, there's loads of like Sweaty Betty, Nike, all of them
Yeah.
do the full.
That's right.
Full
They do
cover
all
ups.
the-
They do now, which is
Yeah.
great. And that
Yeah.
again is really important because
Yeah.
again, what you're doing is you're taking into consideration what people's needs are, and then you're actually thinking, well, actually, we can fix this. If you don't want to wear a skimpy swimming costume, and very often I hate wearing a swimming costume because again, I normally can't be bothered to shave my legs.
Yeah. That is
And
the
it's-
thing.
you
The
think,
amount of
"Oh."
women that turn up to my gym, like, sorry, I've not shaved, and who cares?
Yeah, and I don't care, as you
You
know.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm more sort of, I don't particularly care that much. I will just go swimming.
Yeah.
But it's great now that women can now wear costumes that give them more coverage. And again, that now means that there are girls confident to actually be able to go swimming, which they should be. You know, all women, regardless of age, religion, culture, class, you know.
Maybe if this could go back to schools and swimming lessons at schools, maybe they should, I don't know whether they do, but encourage more coverage for those that want it. I don't know whether.
I bet they do now.
I was going to say there would be. I'm sure there will be some schools now that probably do.
Surely they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
do you? I know that Leicester's is particularly diverse, and there are still some women-only gyms.
Yes,
because I was thinking the other day, imagine if there were men-only gyms, what we'd have to say about that. But somebody asked on a spotted site, I can't remember which one, whether there's any ladies-only gyms in Leicester, and loads of people commented. There's loads of them. They're everywhere.
There are.
I like it.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, but I think it's interesting, and you're absolutely right. Maybe it does sound that we are hypocritical, but the way I would counter that is no, we're not hypocritical. It's because sadly we live in a society whereby it's men predominantly who still don't allow women to be able to exercise or go about their duty without being pestered.
Yeah,
and it's because we don't have a safe space. It goes back to also things like, the reason why, particularly winter time, people don't go to the gym or women don't go running. I mean, how many women, there's always stories about, particularly winter times when you run, because it gets dark. And then you have to think, well, where am I running? Is it safe?
Yeah.
It's true. There was a movement in Anstey, last year or the year before, when a couple of, I think, I can't remember if it was 2 women or 1 lady on her own was harassed.
Yeah.
And there was a big thing there on Spotted, and she was followed and literally shouted at through a car window and followed all the way through the village. So the narrative there was, I'm not going running anymore. And I was like, no, still go running.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because again, we almost come full circle, because we started this podcast off talking about the experience of Asian women in Delhi running, and then being sort of harassed. And actually, you've got it in Anstey.
Yeah.
Do you think the women in Delhi that are running are being harassed because of culture, or just because they are women? And I guess it's less likely to happen in Delhi. So it's more of a sight, basically, because obviously it's like, wow, women running, whereas here it happens more frequently. So
yeah, I would say it is to do with the culture, sadly, still in India. And again, particularly, you know, it's a bit of a sweeping statement, but I think again, you know, I've spoken to various people about it. It depends where in India. And North India, Delhi, and you know, that's where all my family are from, North India. Sadly, it still seems to be a little bit more sort of, you know, the men tend to be a bit more, you know, vocal, shall we say. And they're not subtle.
And what is the women's responses to that?
I think certainly the women that I spoke to when I was doing this programme, and the fact that these women are carrying, you know, they are still running, they just ignore it, or they, you know,
and
they
are
will.
there women that will go running on their own in Delhi? Or,
yeah, certainly. I think in the day, absolutely. The issues would be similar to here, as long as you feel safe. And the advantage with a place like Delhi is it's busy. You know, there's always people around, and certainly the woman in particular that I'm very friendly with, and I still, you know, we sort of message each other, and she's always posting on Instagram, and I follow her. She runs every day, and Christina's 70.
Wow.
And so she was always saying to me, look, it's never too late. She started when she was 60, and she's amazing because she now runs, she's done marathons, and actually places like, particularly big cities like Delhi and Mumbai and other big cities, they do marathons where loads of women take part. Brilliant. So it's not as if women aren't doing it now. Women are in the 21st century involved in quite a lot of exercise in India. And you've got power, you know, think of a women cricket team.
Love it. Yeah.
Bodybuilders. Bodybuilding, particularly in the Punjab, is huge. And there's women.
Football?
Football, yes. It's not as big. Cricket's still the number one sort of sport still in India. But again, I follow a lovely, there's an Asian woman who's probably a grandma in her 70s, and she lifts weights, and she wears a traditional, you know, the tunic and the trousers.
Yes.
A salwar kameez. Yeah. And it's beautiful. I was watching a couple of days ago on Instagram, and
does she train with her son?
There's a few of them. Yeah, there could be.
There's a lady that I follow actually, and she trains with her son, and it's brilliant.
Yeah,
she's got her sketches on.
Yeah, and again, you see, social media's allowed people to be able to then post what they do, and it's all about positive models, isn't it? Role models. If you see somebody like you training or exercising, you tend to think, well, actually, I'll have a go.
So you find inspiring. Inspiring. Yeah,
absolutely.
Which brings me on to a comment. If anybody out there is having an Asian wedding, could you please invite me? Because I've never been to one.
I've been to a few, Sam.
And I'm very jealous. I know you have.
We've got lots of friends.
I'd like to be invited, please.
Invite Sam to your wedding. Actually, on the other week, you said
we
you're
could
not
be bridesmaids.
No, you said the other week you're not going to weddings.
So did you, because you don't like anyone.
Yeah, but it was only an evening one.
It's all
sorry, hush, because I'm not coming. But I really loved that. I think I loved it more because that empire building is amazing, and I've still not done research.
Yes, the bell.
On
yes,
that.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
I think it. I don't know whether it's like an old Catholic church or an Orthodox. I can't. I'll do research on it. And it was a really hot summer's evening. It was just banging.
I did see you on Instagram thinking, oh, she's at an Indian wedding.
Did you dance? I did.
Did you?
With the whole
because you're not a dancer.
Sorry, Anna,
you're not a dancing person, are you?
Excellent.
No, going back to your daughter, I know she came to the gym.
So it's interesting. I mean, even though I'm not a big, you know, I dabble. Let's just say I dabble in a bit of exercise.
She drinks coffee and stretches.
But saying that, my family, however, as you know, my husband makes up for the fact that I don't go to the gym very regularly. He's there 7 days a week.
Oh, is he?
So at 6 a.m.
He's the 6 a.m.
He's with Joshua at 6 a.m. outside.
Yeah, but you know, that was interesting because you say that, though, because I also just think for women, I mean, it's not an excuse, but I think for a lot of women, the reason you don't go to the gym initially, or is because you're juggling so much as well, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
I certainly,
yeah.
my husband used to go to the gym for 6:30. It was my job to get the kids ready for school and make sure they got the school bus or drop them off, and then I'd go to work. So that was always my excuse in the early when my kids were
Yeah.
younger. But saying that, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we are a family that have always now gone to the gym. My kids have done swimming. My son was 2 years old when we started at David Lloyd.
I remember.
That's when
yeah,
we
yeah, with
sort of-
Luke. Yeah,
yeah.
same age as Luke.
Yeah, so that's sort of when we met. So it's 28 years ago. Gosh, a bit scary to think
I
that,
know,
isn't it?
grandmas.
Yeah, and so in a way, it's the norm for my children. You know, my kids have learnt how to swim at David Lloyd, and they used to have swimming lessons every Saturday morning. I used to sit there with my coffee, obviously, and chat. And we used to make a morning of it. You know, then the kids would stay and have lunch. And I met some lovely girlfriends, and I still, you know lots of lovely women from the gym. It's become a social. But then what that's transpired is that my daughter and my son, as they got older, started doing the kids gym club. It was kids gym originally.
Yeah.
And then when they were 17, 18, they became regular, and they still regularly go to the gym.
Brilliant.
My daughter is really fit. You know, she's a bit like her dad. If she doesn't go every day,
so it's just in the routine.
It's her routine.
Yeah.
It helps her tick. She's studying. It helps her with sort of the stress, because she's doing something that's quite stressful with work, and it's part of her life. And she does bits of yoga. She looks great, but she feels great.
Yeah. And that's
Brilliant.
the important
And she's
thing.
always doing she does all her macros as well and eats properly.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. And one thing, even though, you know, I probably don't train very hard, but one of the things that I have, you know, again, through talking to my daughter, but also talking to lots of other people, is nutrition.
Yeah.
You know, very often, you know, 80% of it, I think, is also what you put into your body. Because because what I used to do was I'd go and do a class and think, oh, I'll now have a muffin and cappuccino.
Because I can.
Because I can. Because
this is the biggest problem that I have, is that how people, and I think it's become more, everybody's become more aware since they've had like watches, and is that you think you've burned 1,000 calories in a spin class, and actually you've burnt 350.
Yeah.
And then you've gone and ate 5 million calories straight after, and the gym's not working for me.
So a lot of it, I probably eat better and much more, and something I've been really conscious of, particularly as I get into my sort of late 50s, is nutrition and protein. And that's the other thing my kids were banging on about, and I'd be like, for God's sake, this generation are obsessed with protein. But then I thought, actually, they've got a point. And so, and my kids will say, Mum, how much protein have you had? Well, there's no protein in that. Why don't you have...
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the supermarkets are protein.
Yeah.
Everything is protein meals now.
Yeah.
It's a thing. We're always talking about it, aren't we?
Yeah.
But for me, everything in moderation. Don't you? Too much of protein.
We're both like
silent. We don't do moderation.
It's all or nothing.
But that's probably chat for another podcast, for another episode.
Yes.
So we'll draw it to a close. Thank you, Perminder. And please remember to subscribe. We need some subscribers. Otherwise, me and Sam can't go on a cruise.
Yes, you have to subscribe.
We've only got 167.
That's not going to get as far, is it?
Everybody's like, I don't know how to do it. So you just need to tap subscribe.
But you don't have to pay to subscribe. A lot of people
it's not a subscription.
You're not paying.
Although it could be, if you wanted to just...
I suppose if we need
we can give you our bank details.
When these girls become...
Yeah.
But
it's important that,
absolutely. All you have to do is hit the button. It just means that you've got regular listeners.
Yeah,
it helps to promote. You're following, and it's all about followers.
And a while back, I asked if we did continue it, what kinds of things do you want us to talk about? And nobody really responded. So
we might as well talk to ourselves.
Yeah,
Cheryl.
me and you will just have a chat. We're definitely getting Helen back as well. So that is it. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Perminder. And we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.